morning. I am putting a little bit of coconut sugar into my matcha this morning. I've been using the Breville coffee maker that we got for milk frothing my matchas. Alex uses it every morning for espressos, and I go through phases. I have just been loving a morning matcha lately. Perfect for you right now, Woosin. There is not much I love more than coming out here, coming over to this swing set and just having a peaceful moment, listening to the birds. There are so many birds out right now. There's always so many birds out. This week has been all about just like getting back from vacation, reorganizing, unpacking. I've been feeling a bit of the winter blues. And I think that it's primarily because it's the complete opposite of what I'm used to this time of year. I read a quote recently and it really resonated with me, and it essentially said, even good change can be difficult. It being July, normally for me, growing up in the States, July has always been the hottest month of the year, and right now it's the coldest for me here in New Zealand, and I knew that, of course, before moving here, but I didn't know what I would feel. And it's interesting because I was here last winter, and I think because we were looking for a home and like there was just like honestly so much chaos going on and so much like stimulation because we were just so, everything was new. We didn't even have a home. We were like living in the caravan. We were traveling around looking at houses. It was pretty much overwhelming. So I didn't even notice like the winter, to be honest. And like this time now that I'm like, we're settled in this house and we're comfortable and we're happy here, I can notice other things. And so like just even like scrolling on my phone and seeing people in the sunshine and stuff. And so I think that this holiday that we took, our honeymoon to Fiji, really did help because I just got all that vitamin D, and I'm just like very tan right now. Spring, summer, and autumn in New Zealand are like chef's kiss. They are so wonderful. So that's 3 seasons out of the 4 seasons that are gorgeous here. So, you know, it's just moving through all of this and figuring out what works for me. And so I knew I would feel a little bit of the winter blues when I got back again. And like clockwork, right when we got back from our holiday, I was just sort of like, oh, it's still cold. And I knew it would be. And I was happy that I had a therapy call scheduled like 4 days after we got back. I do them every Saturday morning at 7:30 in the morning. And I know that that sounds aggressive and like really early in the morning on a Saturday, but I am normally up around 6 o'clock. And then I just have like my little early morning breakfast and I make a matcha and I sit down. And I love doing therapy with BetterHelp, and I've talked about them so many times, and I will continue to talk about them as I move forward because mental health is something that I've talked about on my channel for the longest time, so I feel like they are just such a great sponsor. So thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. If you are struggling at all right now with your mental health, please know that you are not alone. There's so much going on in the world right now, and it's a lot, and sometimes it's hard to know where to even begin. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers phone, video, and even a live chat option, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. There is a broad range of expertise with over 20,000 therapists in their network, which isn't always available on a local level. all you do is you fill out a questionnaire so they can best assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a therapist within 48 hours. Something I really like about BetterHelp is that you can message your therapist at any time. They have unlimited messaging, so you can update them or vent to them, let them know that there's something specific that you want to talk about when you guys have your next call. So many people are using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with BetterHelp. You can get 10% off of your first month with BetterHelp by going to betterhelp.com/rad. That's betterhelp.com/rad. These are really beautiful. They are known as the Rose of Winter, which brings me a lot of joy. There's so much dew on them because we've been having a bit of a sprinkle today. It hasn't been like a big pour, but just a nice kind of like soft sprinkle, and there's not much going on anymore. But one thing I really do love about living in like a wetter climate is just all of the dew that you constantly see on the trees, on flowers, in the vegetable garden, because you know that everything's being fed really nicely, getting all the water that they need without us really having to do too much. I love that this is called the Rose of Winter, because for me, one of the hard parts of winter is that, you know, I love to see things in bloom, and although it is quite lush in the winter, like everything's really green because it's getting a lot of water, I don't see as many colors, you know, because obviously everything's dead for the winter. So having this like winter rose here, I love it. I love that the previous owners planted this probably for that same reason, to like bring some color into the winter months. I think that that's something really special about living on a plot of land that you purchased from a different owner who put time and effort into thinking about what they wanted to plant. Because even like the orchard, for instance, we didn't know what fruit trees were in there at all, and so it was kind of like a fun surprise after we moved in, because we moved in early spring and then we kind of just watched the fruit trees start to develop, and then by autumn we were just like in, you know, it was a beautiful surprise of just all of the fruit that we got, and we got to kind of just like watch them grow and find out what they were. Like we'd be like, oh, that's a plum tree, oh, that's a pear tree. Just kind of have to watch things come to life and then figure out what they are with that. I do have some pretty sad news. I mentioned this in a recent Q&A, and I mentioned it on Instagram and stuff like that. We were supposed to get chickens actually tomorrow. We were supposed to pick them up, and we just kind of like touched base with the farm that we were supposed to get them from. And they let us know that all of the chickens, they were about 12 weeks old, I believe. I think like 12 or 13. So about teenager stage, like right before they lay, like a couple months before they start laying or something like that. I don't know everything about chickens. I was going to be learning a lot more, and I will once the time is right. But they all passed away in a flood that flooded the farm. When we were in Fiji, we heard that there was like just crazy rain. Actually, our flight was delayed due to weather. And when we got back, our neighbors and, you know, our friends and people around us were just like, it's been so crazy rainy. Hopefully we will find some chickies for the homestead soon, but for now I'm just gonna take a little moment for those little chickies, because it's sad that they died in the flood. So this dog, first off, is, I don't know, it might be a bit biased, but potentially the cutest dog you've ever seen. I don't know if I've ever showed you guys this before. I think I have on TikTok. But he lets Alex just do full dental work on him. The trust is just unbelievable. And that's what's about to happen.
We're gonna brush his teeth, and then we're gonna give him a little plaque scrape, and we're gonna save hundreds of dollars on vet bills, because we've developed trust with this animal. You can go, right?
All right, we've got our little Wonka kit. I brought his little lavender spray too because, geez, it smells so good. And Alex always does it's like a little ritual, it's a routine. Isn't there like even a little lavender? There's a lavender paw spray. So, you know that I was the one that got these two things, but Alex loves using them after he does his little dental work.
So we start with just a quick little brush.
The trust is unbelievable. And I think we realized how crazy this was when you tried doing my mom's dog.
And when we take him to the vet and they say his teeth look amazing.
He loves it. I got this calming balm randomly a long time ago, and it's lavender and kava, which when we just went to Fiji, we tried kava. It's like a Fijian ceremonial drink, and it calms you. So no wonder this is calming. We just put 2 and 2 together on that. But we just kind of go like this. It's a little calming paw treatment. He wants to get up because he just got his dental work done. But they say to put it right there on the nose because they can't lick it there, but they can smell it. And lavender is really relaxing. Yeah, here you go. Now you're gonna be nice and calm all day with clean teeth. Okay, you're off. Bye. When it's raining outside, I love coming inside and baking. I'm making a focaccia bread today. A lot of you guys asked for this recipe when I posted it on Instagram, so I'm going to show you guys exactly how I make it. You can take a look at the screen now to see exactly what ingredients you'll need to make the focaccia bread. I strongly believe that a good focaccia bread is the gateway to bread making. It's a pretty simple recipe. It just takes an afternoon, so you don't have crazy proofing times, and it's just delicious. So you'll need a large mixing bowl, and you'll add your water into the bowl. Then you'll add your sugar. You'll want to mix those up before you add in your active dry yeast. And then you'll want to mix all 3 of those ingredients together, and the sugar will help activate that yeast. Give it about 5 to 10 minutes to activate, and then you'll add in your flour. While you mix in your flour, you'll add your olive oil, and then mix it all up until you start creating your dough consistency. You'll want to get all your sprigs of rosemary together and any ingredients that you want to add to the top of your bread. Before adding those extra special ingredients, you'll want to mix all your dough together. And because I've been bread baking for a little while now, I have a technique down. I like to grab the edges of the dough and bring them in towards the middle. You can kind of see my techniques here. I also like to use my fist to just kind of like pound in the dough like this. You're creating air pockets when you do stuff like this, and the more air pockets the better when it comes to bread making, because you just love seeing those little air pockets once you've baked the bread. Once I finished kneading the dough, I put it in the oven while the oven was off, and I kept it in the mixing bowl. I put a damp towel over and let it proof for about an hour. The key is that the oven's not on here. It just needs a warm place to proof. You'll notice that the dough should double in size. Once it's doubled in size, I decided to knead the dough again, put it back in the oven with the oven turned off with the damp towel over the bowl, and I kneaded it again, and then I proofed it for another like 45 minutes. So I did 2 kneading and proofings. You could probably get away with just doing 1, but I like it to be extra proofed and I like kneading the dough. So the more air bubbles, like I said, the better. And then I grabbed a pan and I put some parchment paper on it. You can do a circle shape or you can do a rectangular shape. I kind of did a mix of both here. I flattened out the dough and then I started making the indentations that a focaccia has. So I just started pushing with my finger and I made sure to go all the way down to the pan. Like push your finger in far enough that you feel the parchment paper almost, and you definitely feel like the hardness of the pan below, because if you only do it a little bit, by the time you bake it, it just won't have large indentations. That's what I've learned. And then you drizzle some more olive oil on top. I added the rosemary and parsley and some more salt on top. And this is the fun part. You'll put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. And I like to watch my bread. I check back at it 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, because each oven is a bit different. You'll want it to look golden like this one. And then you'll remove it off the parchment paper and you'll cut into it. And this is when the focaccia tastes the most delicious, when it's right out of the oven. But this one turned out really lovely. I was really happy with it. I love cutting into a bread and seeing what the inside looks like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. If you try it out, please tag me on Instagram so that I can see it. Happy baking. Thanks for watching.